Hey everyone, how's it going? In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to use liquid latex. Now there's a lot of different uses for liquid latex, but in today's video, what I'm going to show you is how to create cuts. Here is a couple pictures where I have used liquid latex with cuts, and I'll put them right here. So if you don't know, I just did a 31 days of Halloween and horror on my Instagram. My Instagram handle is going to pop up right here at the bottom of this video, and I also have it down in my description box below. Now, everything that I'm going to be using in today's video, I'm going to explain what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and keep in mind, everything is kind of different for everybody, right, when it comes to makeup. So I'm just letting you know the things that I do and what works for me. And everything that I'm going to be using in this video, I will have product links down below in my description box. So please make sure to check that out. Throughout this video, if you like what you see, please leave me a comment. I love to hear what you guys have to say. Give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to join my family. So hit that red subscribe button down below. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my videos, then go ahead and turn on that bell notification. So what you're going to need in the video today is toilet paper. I know we're in a pandemic, but it's essential for creating cuts with liquid latex. You can also use cotton rounds, but I personally feel that toilet paper, 2-ply by the way, works the best. And when it comes to toilet paper, I know it's kind of weird, but I actually find that Angel Soft and, you know, the toilet paper that has the patterns on it, like the quilted toilet paper, is way easier to tear. You're also going to need cuticle scissors. You're going to need a paintbrush or a sponge that you don't mind throwing away. I bought this pack of 100 paintbrushes on Amazon. So like I said, I'm going to put everything in my description box below. These are really cheap brushes, but they're also really great to use. Like, I'm not going to miss them. So just keep in mind that liquid latex will ruin your sponges and brushes. You can also use your finger, but I believe that a brush really helps you to create the shape and the design of what you're going for. Most importantly, you're gonna need some liquid latex. I personally love Mayron products, and Mayron makes liquid latex in different colors. I have a clear one, and which kind of dries more like an off-white, and then I have a light beige liquid latex that I'll probably use in today's video. Another thing you're gonna need is some neutral set powder. It doesn't have to be this exact one. This one is from Ben Nye, and it is called Neutral Set. It is just a colorless powder. You know, any type of setting powder will work. Just make sure that it is translucent. And that's pretty much it to create the cut. So now let's go into the how-to. So I'm first going to grab my toilet paper because I want things to be as easy as possible for me, and I'm going to start separating the ply. So what you're going to do is, this one's pretty much already separated, but you just pull the pieces apart and set them off to the side. See, this is why I like Angel Soft, is because it's really easy to pull the ply apart. So this is essentially one square of 2-ply Angel Soft, and you just take the edges and separate them. So I am going to be taking my Mayron liquid latex in light beige, and I'm going to start by applying this with a paintbrush. Now, liquid latex will rip out hair, so I highly recommend not putting it anywhere in sensitive areas. Like, don't put it under your eyes, don't put it directly on your eyebrows, because your eyebrows will be gone once you take it off. And I do recommend shaving your face with with a beauty razor, you know, the little thin razors. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I actually have a video where I show you how I shave my face, and I will link that above for you so you can check that out. So here I go. I'm dipping in. Since this is pretty much a brand new bottle, I'm just dipping into the sides to coat my brush. This is what the brush looks like. And let's just create a square of how, you know, how you want the cut to be. I'll just do a little one since this is for teaching purposes. So what I like to do is make the square or the placement bigger than what the cut is going to be, so it looks more realistic. So you don't need that much. This is an adhesive. It will automatically stick. So I'm gonna take one of my squares that I had just created, and I'm gonna kind of rip it up to how I want. I'm going to, let's see, it's a little bit big. Like I said, I want my edges to be, you know, a little bit wider than the paper. So I'm taking my first layer, patting it on, and then I'm gonna pull off the excess. Now it's okay if it's not perfect. Cuts aren't perfect, right? But we do want it to look realistic, and that's kind of my big thing is I don't like edges around prosthetics. Just make sure that it is flattened down. And I believe that the more layers that you create, usually in between like 3 to 6 layers of toilet paper, it makes it look more realistic. I am taking the liquid latex again on my brush, and I'm gonna paint over what I just did, again extending the liquid latex a little bit above the toilet paper to create a seamless edge. And you want to coat the toilet paper completely. Now, since the toilet paper is really thin, sometimes around the edges, since the liquid latex is wet, like the toilet paper will start ripping and peeling. So make sure that you go in the direction that the toilet paper is in so you don't get chunks all over your face. And while this is wet, go ahead, take a part of your toilet paper and put it on your face. So now it's nice and over where I last put the other piece of toilet paper, and then rip off the excess. And we're gonna create another layer. And another layer. And another layer. Also, liquid latex does have a smell to it that is not pleasant at all. So when it does get close to your eyes, or at least for me, my eyes water like crazy because the smell is just really, really bad. So if you've never used liquid latex before and you're curious about the smell and if it's supposed to smell that way, yeah, it is. Okay. I think we'll do one more layer after this, and then I'll show you what to do next. If you guys want to see how I make prosthetics not on my face, let me know and I will do another video for you guys. But keep in mind, you can reuse this depending on how you like it. If it turns out, I will show you another prosthetic that I've made that I've kept. So since this is our last layer, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it dry. Now, if you're in a hurry, you can use a blow dryer, and I recommend putting the hair blow dryer on the cool or the warm setting. I'm gonna let this dry, and I will show you what we're gonna do when it's done drying. Now that my little patch is somewhat dry, it's a little tacky, but you can tell that it's drying. It's a little tacky around the edges. So what I like to do in this stage is I like to take my setting powder. And again, for this stage, I am gonna use just a cheap makeup sponge because again, I don't wanna ruin my nice brushes. So this helps it look more matte, and it takes away the shine. And also when you begin cutting, it helps it so that it doesn't stick everywhere. And it's gonna be easier to find a corner when you're done and to pull it off. So what I do next after the powder is I create my cuts, and then depending on the type of look that I want to do, if you're going to do face paint or if you're going to do foundation, which in today's video, I'm just going to put foundation over my face so you can see how it blends in. And then I'm going to detail the cuts. So I like to do the cuts first and then do the coloring. Now, this part can be kind of tricky because you don't want to cut yourself. Okay, like I said, so here is our product that we just did. And I'm taking the cuticle scissors. Like I said, you do have to be careful because you don't want to go through the liquid latex and you don't want to cut yourself. So I recommend keeping the scissors together because when they're separated, it is way more pointy. And then I kind of take it and I twist it to create my first hole. And then I kind of pull up and away from my skin and kind of work the tip of the scissors into the liquid latex. Once I have a hole, I will then open my scissors and stick the tip into the hole, and then I will begin to cut. So there's one. And then I inch it up again and I cut, creating the shape that I want. And then you can take it with your fingers, and then you can even start tearing like this, and I'll go ahead and make a second hole down here. So again, I'm taking it with the scissors closed, and I'm literally just kind of, let's go a little bit further, kind of twisting it. And then once I feel it kind of getting closer to the skin, I will then start pulling it back away from my skin and twisting it. So there's a hole. Then I'll open the scissors, put it back inside the hole, and cut away from my face. And then once I have enough room to get my fingers in there, that's when I'll start pulling it. So here's what it looks like with 2 cuts on my face. What I like to do to make it look more realistic is I like to kind of get my fingers in there and push it down flat, the edges, kind of curl them up and push them. So now I'm going to show you how I put on the foundation. The foundation that tends to really work for me for covering, because it's definitely full coverage, is I'm using the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. But you do, in my opinion, want a full coverage foundation. We are going to be painting and putting eyeshadow in there, and it is going to cover the edges. And this is the fun part where you get to play around and make it how you want. So I'm gonna go in with my James Charles palette, and I'm going to take the black shade and I'm gonna mix the red shade, and I'm gonna put that into my cuts. And then I'm gonna go back in with red and kind of make the outside look irritated, because you know, your face is cut open. So you are gonna have a lot of red and pink spots. I like to take red and put it on the tips of the cut. And again, I'm just using red eyeshadow. Then I'll go in with like almost like a burnt orangey pink and kind of color around the cuts, in between the cuts. And honestly, it's all about like your creativity and what you want it to look like. Then I like to color in like different shapes. You can bring it up towards your eye, because again, cuts are never perfect. Another thing you can do is actually Google and look up real wounds and use that as a reference. So now that this is pretty much covered how I want it to, I'm now gonna take my red face paint. So this is red from Mayron Paradise Paint. It is a water activated paint. So again, I'll put, you know, more red over the edges. And then I like to extend the cut. So take the edge of where you cut and you can kind of create more lines based off of that. And then again, I will put the red a little bit inside over the black and red shadow. Can I just tell you how amazing these detailing brushes are? I'm gonna link everything, like I said, down in my description below. So make sure to check that out. But I love these brushes that I have. They come in all different sizes. Okay, so I think I'm gonna keep it looking like this because I think it looks really realistic how it's at. And there's one last step that you need. So the last step to make your cuts look a little bit more gory, if that's what you're into, is there is coagulated blood, and I use stage blood. So the ones that I have the Mayron coagulated blood gel, which this is very thick, and it's supposed to be like almost like scabby kind of looking. And then I have the Ben Nye stage blood. And this one I really like for this kind of look just because it's a little bit thinner and it can drip depending on how much you put on. But what I will usually do is put this on a stippling sponge and kind of dab around. But I'm lazy and I don't want to get up and grab my stippling sponge, so I'm just going to use my regular cheap makeup sponge. So usually kind of covering some of the edges. I like that this is a little bit showing because it looks like my skin is kind of roughed up and peeled from the cut. So I'm actually going to leave that where it's at and just kind of put the blood over top of the cut. I don't want to go too much, and just kind of put it where you want it to make it look like realistic. And I'm not going to use the coagulated gel just because I feel like this video is already kind of long and I just really wanted to show you how to create a cut look or just how to use liquid latex in general. So that is pretty much it for the how-to. So when it comes to removing it, like I said, if you like the job that you created, you can keep them. So this is a prosthetic that I made for my Cruella de Vil cuts, and I'll put that picture up here. And I just carefully peeled this off of my face, and then I powdered the backside. So it's, you know, the blood gel has dried over it, the face paint and the eyeshadow is kind of locked in there. And so I'm able to reuse this, and what I would do is just take the liquid latex, put it down on my face as the adhesive, stick this on, and then paint edges of liquid latex around and powder it and just color it again like normal. So that's how you make prosthetics and how to use liquid latex on your face. I will also be creating another video, if you'd like, of how I create my prosthetics off of my face. But that is pretty much it. So when it comes to removing, I don't recommend peeling it directly off your face. You can use spirit gum remover, which usually comes when you buy spirit gum. Mine looks like this. It's from Mayron, and it is spirit gum remover. You can also use, what I've been using too is the Garnier Skin Active, the micellar water cleansing makeup remover. You can take it on a Q-tip and first of all kind of peel up an edge, and then, you know, kind of take it off with the makeup oil. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I had a lot of fun creating this. I hope that you enjoyed this video. As I said in the beginning of the video, if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. I would love to hear your comments down below, and if you're going to try this look at some point. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on that bell notification, and don't forget to check out my other videos on the sides. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.